The Best of the West show is designed to find the best companies, influencers, and business owners in the Fort Worth Metroplex. We learn what makes Fort Worth special by speaking with the experts and business owners that live, work, and play there. Whether it's the booming real estate market, amazing hospitality restaurants, or shopping, our experts dish on all things that make Fort Worth great. Hosted by the team of broadcasting professionals at Real News PR, this show is brought to you by Real News Communications Network.
Welcome to Best of the West, featuring the best in the Fort Worth Metroplex. I'm Sarah Curley, and I'm so excited for our show today. I'm going to welcome in our guest who actually needs no introduction. Welcome. Welcome, Barney. So I'm so excited to welcome the body of Barney, the actor that played Barney for over 20 years. And this was a staple in my childhood. And what a Fort Worth treasure that we have here today. A lot of the filming of the show, Barney and Friends, was done right here in Fort Worth, Texas. Let's give a little bit of background, shall we? For those of you that weren't as big of a Barney fan, or maybe you need a little bit of a refresher because it's been a little bit, Barney launched in 1992, and for our millennial generation, perhaps you were around the same age. I was 2, and I vividly remember growing up with Barney. And throughout my childhood, this is actually a full circle moment. I'm excited to share a picture of my daughter, bringing her into our Dallas location to meet some of my team members, and one of them surprised her with our little stuffed dinosaur, who is our beloved guest today. But for those of you who are not familiar with Barney, this show was created by Cheryl Leach of Dallas, Texas, and she came up with the idea of a children's program after noticing that her son outgrew We Sing Together. And she recognized that there was no videos to appeal to her son, hence creating a series of at-home videos, Barney and the Backyard Gang, initially releasing in 1988. The show debuted as Barney and Friends in 1992, and that's the series that I remember. And one of my very favorite episodes was filmed right here in Fort Worth, Texas, with Barney Goes to the Zoo. How fun. I'm excited today to introduce you to Carrie Stinson, who played Barney for over 20 years. So Carrie Stinson is celebrating 100 episodes. So of course we had to deck out our little Barney character here with 100 because he has 100 episodes of his podcast launching here very soon. And I'm so excited to have you here, Carrie Stinson. Welcome.
How are you, Sarah? Thank you.
So good.
What an opening. What an opening. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, because you have 100 episodes here launching with Purple Roads. So let's just get right into it.
All right.
Beginning from the beginning of becoming Barney the dinosaur.
Oh, goodness. Well, that beginning was, you were talking about, you were 2. I was a little bit older than that, obviously.
Just a little bit.
So this was 91. So 91 wasn't a TV show yet. I was actually doing birthday parties for them. Legal, the only licensed birthday parties. Then the TV show came out, became a huge hit, and obviously you can't have Barney at someone's house. So they shut that down, and they needed a second person to do promotions and those kind of things. And so I actually had to audition again. I did. I got the job. I did mall tours for them for 6 months, and then they just kept calling. So I wouldn't hear for a month, and then, hey, can you do this? And then, can you do this? And then I ended up doing Radio City, and then I went on tour, and then I actually did Barney and Friends for 12 years.
How amazing. And you had the fun job, okay? You were the body of Barney.
That's
so you
right.
weren't in, the behind the scenes in a little sound booth recording the voice of Barney. You were there with the kids, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, all over the world, seeing children light up when they see Barney. What was that like?
Well, it changed my life. It changed my life. Like I said, I was 23. 1991, I was 23. And to be honest with you, I was looking for a job. I was in the entertainment business, but I was looking for a job. And I got to do, 6 months in, I got to go to a hospital. And I saw the power of it. I have never seen over my 22 years of Barney kids be sad in a hospital when you think they would be,
right.
But they saw their best friend and they just were so happy. And so I realized very quickly that it was a responsibility. You know, they didn't come to see me, they came to see Barney. So Carrie can't be sad or when I'm doing those things. And the emotions were incredible. It's incredible to see that. And what I learned about kids and their fearlessness and their power, it's amazing.
Well, I want to thank you personally because you taught me my ABCs, how to color, how to be happy, really as a kid, just to be, you know, sharing and caring. And it's just incredible. And I can't wait to pass that down to my kids.
That was an amazing team of people. I was involved in that, but we had all this incredible crew and educators and people that all believed in what we were doing. And all of us did that. And that's what's so cool. These amazing people that all believed in it and are so proud of what we did.
The Barney family.
The Barney family.
So
They're
what was
amazing.
it like being out on the road with the Barney family?
Oh my gosh. I was very lucky because I did Barney's Musical Castle and Barney's Big Surprise. Every night it sold out. 3,000 to 4,000 people every night sold out to jump on stage. And it sounds like a rock show.
My heart's beating just hearing this.
It's incredible. And then at the end of the show, you know, lucky I know what's coming. And here's the I Love You song, our most famous song. And to see these kids and hear these kids singing that song, leaning over and kissing their parents and saying, I love you, it's priceless. It's priceless.
So you wore the
Yes.
costume. How heavy was that? Give us kind of some technical, the behind the scenes of what that was like, because I'm sure it was difficult, and the kids are what kept you going for so many seasons, for so many years.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of that kind of behind the curtain, so to speak, of
without going
being Barney.
in too much, because I'm a guy that believes all in the magic. But
it is the magic, yes.
But I will tell you that it was very heavy, and I will tell you that, like every production, you know, I learned this doing Purple Rose because I talked to all these people that are involved in the industry. You kind of get started and then you make adjustments. So the first costume was very heavy in the, like, let's say 60 to 70 pound range. And then it got to probably about 50 something after I'd been doing it a while.
And here we are in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yes.
Because Barney is Texas.
Barney
this
is
a
Texas.
Texas show. So share with us the ties to Fort Worth specifically. We love Fort Worth. The Barney at the zoo is my favorite, and I think that's where I really loved all the animals and, you know, going to the zoo with you.
Well, my dad was born in Fort Worth. I just got married in Fort Worth.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we
Thank
love
you
these
very much.
pictures.
Thank you
Look
very
at
much.
you and your cowboy hat.
Yeah, thank you.
A true Texan through
True
and
Texan.
through.
And we talked about the Fort Worth, the video that was done at Fort Worth Zoo. There was also a book, which I was part of. But what you don't know is that Barney's Big Surprise, the first tour we ever did, we started right here in Fort Worth.
Wow.
At Will Rogers. So the first shows that we ever did were here in Fort Worth.
Okay, so there's so much nostalgia here then in
Yeah.
Fort Worth. I mean, when you're walking these streets, I'm sure you're seeing, you know, back when you were here and just experiencing it for the first time all over again.
I did over 1,000 shows.
Wow.
With that tour, and it started right here in Fort Worth. So the memories, the vibes are really good here in the
That's
city.
so magical. And you share this on your show, Purple Roads.
I do.
And you're interviewing, I mean, all of the stars, the voice of Mickey. I just listened to Tinkerbell. She
Yes.
is a hoot and a half,
Yes.
let me tell you. What a little pistol. I just
Yes.
love everybody that you're interviewing on that show. And congratulations, because we're at 100
We are.
episodes of Purple Roads.
We are.
And so you guys got to check it out. That is a video podcast.
It is.
And so I love to see you because you're doing what you love. And you're a well-known photographer in the area and a true creative.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
what has it been like creating the show and getting to know so many stars throughout the years, and how much that you have to connect and relate with them too? That's a bond that Wyman and I here, we're behind the scenes creative. We weren't stars of anything
Right.
like you.
Well, I knew that other people were having relationships that had experiences in life that I had. And so that's where it started from. And so I just started contacting people, and it's just been an incredible journey. Hearing their experiences, going to hospitals and working with kids, because most of them didn't expect to be in children's entertainment. That wasn't the plan. And then it changed their life. It's a cool experience to hear these stories. And yes, we've had Mickey Mouse and Big Bird, and it's just, you know, Josh Dela Cruz from Blue's Clues.
Well, we're not
It's
going to
awesome.
spoil it, but I'm sure as some of you are listening to the show, he's made it to 100. Who the 100th guest is?
March 25th. March 25th is the show.
2022.
Yes, and I can't say who it is, but it's someone very big in the children's industry, still going, and this is going to be a very cool episode.
Well, I want to thank you so much for the show because you really are giving that true, authentic behind the scenes of the good, sometimes the challenging.
Yes.
And I love seeing you as a host because it's magical. It's magical to be able to
thank
hear
you.
the questions. I mean, they're just so, it's questions I could never ask because I haven't lived it. And
Right.
you've lived it and you have so much to share the blood, sweat, and tears literally with these famous
Right.
celebrities and stars. And so you guys definitely got to check it out. And I can't wait for the 100 and congratulations on
Thank
100.
you. Well, the whole thing was to have a conversation, right? That's what I used to do, is talk to all of these people. And so I thought, my God, I want the world to kind of see what these conversations are about, right? We care about these shows. I grew up with Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers. And I was fortunate, I'd been doing Barney for about 5 years when I got to meet Mr. McFeely. Speedy delivery for Mr. Rogers in person.
Yes.
And he was dressed just like the average guy on the street. And he was very nice. And he went in this room and he came back dressed and he said, "Speedy delivery." And I nearly lost it. Because I spent all this time and he was exactly what it was like for me watching this show. And it meant the world to me. And everyone in this industry understands that. And that's a lot about what Purple Roads is about. This is not about, yes, we have to make money, we have to do things, but they really care about what they do. And it's changed their lives. And so it's a fun show.
I love it. I love every moment of it. And congratulations, I'll say ahead of time, on the next 100, because
Thank
I'm
you.
sure your creative mind
Thank
is
you.
working at
Oh,
full speed.
we've got so many guests past 100 already, so we're very excited about this.
Let's dive
lined up.
into Fort Worth specifically.
Sure. And my dad was born here, and then he lived outside of Waco, in China Springs, Texas, which people don't know where China Springs is, but it's outside of Waco. So I came to Fort Worth, as a little kid. In fact, I was born in Washington D.C., and my mom said, because my dad was in politics, my mom said, "Let's go back to Texas." And so we came back here.
Let's go back home.
Let's go back home. It just feels that way. And all these years later, getting married here, we had one of our everyone flew in, and we met at Billy Bob's. I got to go dancing at Billy Bob's with everyone.
Teaching everybody the two steps. I'm
the
sure that's the
two-step.
first question everybody's saying.
two-step.
Carrie, teach me a two-step.
And then, and I'll give a little plug here. We went to Heim Barbecue, which is just fabulous.
I haven't tried
We
Heim
took-
Barbecue.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go, Wime.
We took everyone to Heim Barbecue, and then more plugs. Art Space up here is where we got married. It's beautiful. And everyone's so nice, and it was just absolutely perfect. And then, of course, all the Barney memories. And I get as involved as I can be in Fort Worth. I just absolutely love the people here, love the spirit here, the passion. It's just really an incredible city.
Truly. And it's not about being born here. It's about how fast you get here.
That's
and
right.
So you will find family and forever friends. And I do believe that this is the best day on earth.
I do too.
We're here. We're here.
I
And we're
do
here
too.
with you. And
I
this
do
is where
too.
childhood memories were made, was because
Yeah.
of Barney here as well.
Yep.
So share with us more about kind of what you're up to now and today. Of course, the show, congratulations on 100
Thank you.
episodes of Purple Roads. But your photography business
Yes.
is unbelievable. Your
Thank you.
eye for creative is just uncanny.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it came from all the years of Barney. I got to see life in a way that most people don't. Being on a tour bus for 5 years. Obviously, seeing things out of a costume is a different way to look at things.
Yes, that perspective.
The perspective is completely
and the
different.
emotion on people's faces and children's faces.
Yes.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah. And then the TV show, being there, and you see how all the behind the scenes, and after doing it for 22 years, which I absolutely, would have kept going as long as I could. I loved it so much. But I did want to get on the other side of the camera. That was important to me. And I do a lot of Texas photography. I sell my work up in Denison at a gallery, Sparrows Gallery.
Fantastic.
So besides then, I also shoot event photography, lifestyle photography, portrait photography for business and personal stuff too. But a lot of it is Texas based because I absolutely love love shooting photography in Texas.
Share with us some of your favorites and what you're excited about for this upcoming season with Texas photography and landscape and scenes and sunsets and florals and livestock and downtown and people and emotion, all of it.
Well, you'll love this. You'll love this. So, you know, when you talk to people and you get their portrait pictures, you know, it's always important to have experienced it. So I obviously get my pictures done.
Yes.
And so my stepson, we actually went down to the stockyards, and all my Purple Roads pictures are of my son shooting my pictures right there in the stockyards.
That is so special.
It's one of the coolest places too. And then my stepdaughter is a senior, so we just did her. I do a lot of senior pictures.
Yes.
We shot half of them here in Fort Worth, and then we went down to the Texas Hill Country. And she got her in cowboy boots and the whole deal. So the landscapes here are amazing. The sunsets are incredible to shoot. And then, you know, in Texas, barns and longhorns and all those things are everywhere. So my backdrops are everywhere. And some of the most incredible shots that I've taken from my fine art work are things I walked upon. I didn't create them. I walked upon a pair of boots that's missing, or I walked upon the longhorn, or all these different things. So I'm just showing you what I see, and that's a cool thing. And I have to give a shout out to Vernetta Thomas. She was my photography teacher that I, after I left Barney and Friends, went to, and she tweaked my eye a little bit and even just showed me another way. She's in Collin College, which is in Plano, and just took me even further.
So you've got two mentors, Barney.
Yeah.
And then, of course, her as well. So share with us some words of wisdom for those of us listening that they're like, wow, he had a full career as Barney, photographer, how to find your passion and then carry that on.
Yeah, well, it's follow your dreams. Nothing stops me. And I think the most important part of that is I've tried things that didn't work. I wanted to be a singer so bad.
Really?
I went to school. I took singing classes. I was not great. I got an A in the class, and my teacher said, if your voice was as good as your passion, you'd be incredible. But I tried it. And I always have that. I don't ever have a regret that I didn't try it. And I just don't accept no. I think that's a really important part. I was told no several times with Barney. Not on purpose or anything like that, but I'd never been in a costume. I was just this guy that had gone to piano classes and studied jazz in college, and I said, oh yeah, I can do this. But I worked my way, and I just kept going until I got that audition, and next thing I know, I got it. And then they said, can you dance? And I said, sure. I can't dance. I've told this story many times. And I went to my mother, who was a professional dancer, and she actually taught me every move on my early days of Barney. She watched the videos and then taught me those moves, and I went back and did all that. So
wow.
Don't let no get in your way.
Don't let no get in your way.
And it's something you'll hear in Purple Roads all the time, because this is a lot of them. A lot of them were never a puppeteer, or never been a body actor, or never done voiceover. And they just went and did it anyways. And, you know, sometimes you won't get it, but you tried. And that's the most important part.
Like mic drop. Don't take no for an answer.
Right.
Because you were told no.
I'll tell you exactly what happened. So I was actually working at Chili's in Plano, Texas. A guy asked me if I would work for him on a Saturday, and I said, you know, what's going on? And he said, well, I have to be Barney in the morning. There was no TV show. There was nothing of that. It was just the videos and the birthday parties. And he said, I'm actually getting ready to go off to college, and they're going to need someone else. You should give her a call.
I just got chills.
So I gave her a call. She showed me the car. I went over to her house and showed me the costume, showed me the videos, because I had no idea what it was. It was only local at that time. And she said, okay, this sounds great. I'll give you a call. She never called me, which is very common in this industry.
My suspense here. I mean, I'm shaking right now because this was your future here.
Yeah.
But she didn't call you.
She didn't call me, and we didn't have, you know, cell phones and computers, and we didn't have all that in 91. And so I actually couldn't find, I had to find her number down, track her down, and I finally just said, I'm going to find out what's going on, because she's not calling me. Well, you wanted to do this.
There was something inside you that said, I need to do this.
So she said, well, I actually already hired someone.
Oh my gosh.
But, and this is very common in this industry, he asked for the first 3 weeks off. So she said, well, if you want to do the first 3 weeks, and then I'm going to start a second team. Well, I got really good at it really quickly.
Yes, you did.
Worked myself into the lead, and then she decided she wanted to take me with her when we went to go to the to the show and the promotion, all that stuff. So she got me a second audition.
Wow.
With Cheryl Leach and Dennis DeShazer and Kathy Parker, and it just kept going there. I just never stopped. Can you dance? Yes. Can't. You've been in a costume? No, I'll be fine. I had no idea. Absolutely no clue. Do you want to go on tour? I mean, I was 27 years old when I get a phone call. Do you want to go on tour? Having no idea I was going to be on tour buses with a rock and roll crew, sold out every night, 1,000 shows all over the world. Do you want to do the TV show? You know, it was all of that. And I wasn't trained for it. I wasn't anything. But I took it seriously, and I put the work in because I wanted this. And I knew how important it was. It was bigger than me. There was no question. The opportunity to touch children's lives, there's something pretty powerful there.
What was the difference between being in person with the roaring crowds and then filming?
Well, there's nothing that beats live. I mean, there isn't. And it's funny because we talk about on Purple Roads a lot. There's nothing like that. But doing the show is very important, and you know it's very important. You have to keep the energy up because it's, you know, a lot of times between takes, there's a lot of people on set. So you have to remember what you're doing this for. Even if you've done it 15 times, it has to be there. It has to do those things. But I will tell you, every time we did I Love You, it was still magic. It was absolutely, you're in this big studio with all these people, but the second that song plays, and you know what you're doing, you're telling the kids at home, I love you, and it's okay to love me. And that's a pretty amazing, I would get chills doing it.
I got something for you.
I love you, you love me, we're a happy family, with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you, won't you say you love me too?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
You guys don't see it like I do, but there's tears in his eyes.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable. I talk about this a lot, but it's important. Going into a hospital and doing the I Love You song is incredible. But it's also just to every child. It means something to every child. And the coolest thing doing Purple Roads, and as I've grown up, is that I have people that send me letters, reach out to me on social media, and a lot of them will say, you know, two things. One, I didn't like Barney, and now I get it. And I've had one that it touches my heart, which is, I learned love from Barney. My parents didn't say they loved, we didn't use the terms, we didn't understand all of that. And I learned love from Barney, and I'm 25 years old, and I still listen to that song. I think that's important, right? We build all these things for kids, but, you know, I think adults need it too.
We do need that reminder, and also life amazing journey of love.
Yeah.
Of love. And maybe that's not with a person, but it's a friendly dinosaur that says it. Can you take us back to your childhood?
Oh, sure.
Did you love dinosaurs? What was Carrie Stinson like as a kid?
Carrie Stinson as a kid. Well, I moved here when I was 10. It's Richardson, Texas.
Were you shy? Were you
yes.
outgoing? You were shy.
I was very shy.
I don't believe you.
You're
so outgoing.
Thank you. I was very shy. You know, I learned that from my dad. My dad was shy, and he took public speaking classes in college.
Wow.
And that was his recommendation.
Good for him.
And so we're talking about...
Because that's like up there with, what is it? There's a saying, like, the biggest fears in life is like death and then public speaking. And he faced his fear, and you got to see the triumphant father take those speaking classes and say, you need to take some classes.
Well, he did, and I did. And I will tell you, my first public speaking in class, I fainted.
Did you?
I did.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Did you hit your head?
I didn't hit my head.
Thank
I just
God.
dropped down. I didn't eat.
Knees were kind of buckling, and you
Yeah.
felt a little woozy.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And then I think when the opportunity came with Barney, I don't know. I just knew I had to do it. And so And I probably started, I was also in college, I was playing music, and so I think I was getting comfortable being in front of people and performing, and it just kind of built from there.
That's incredible. I'm so glad that when you passed out, you didn't let that be the last time that you public spoke. When you're, and you accept speaking engagements
I do.
And also appearances, share with us a little bit about that journey.
I do. Yeah, I'm with Debut Entertainment, and so you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Right, I didn't get here in my life by myself. Right, my dad, my mom were really inspirational in my life. You can do all these things, and so they pushed me. And so all these things I've done, because I was encouraged to do it. I had a coach in high school, same thing, pushed me. Obviously, my mentor from photography. So these people have done it for me, and I want to be one of those people that can do it for other people.
So special, Carey. Thank you so much for being on the show.
So good to see you, Sarah.
So good to see you too. Congratulations on the 100, and again, preemptively, the next 100.
Thank you, thank you.
Love Purple Roads. I'm the biggest fan of you from childhood and now.
Thank you. I am so thrilled you're here in Fort Worth. Keep doing what you're doing. Welcome to Fort Worth.
Yeah, we got it. All right, we'll see you guys next time on Best of the West. This show is brought to you by Real News Communications Network, your digital destination for video podcasts, produced by media and podcast experts. Podcasting at the speed of news, powered by Real News PR. Visit realnewscn.com for our podcast show library and launchashow.com to do just that, launch a show.
And don't forget to follow our guest. You can find Purple Roads on everywhere that you can find podcasts.